Suspected U.S. airstrikes pounded Yemen overnight into Saturday, reportedly killing at least one person as the American military acknowledged earlier bombing a major military site in the heart of Sanaa controlled by the Houthi rebels. The full extent of the damage and possible casualties from the attacks wasn't immediately clear, though they followed an intense night of airstrikes early Friday that appeared particularly intense compared to other days in the campaign that began March 15. The U.S. military released a black-and-white video showing a strike the Yemeni military's General Command headquarters in Sanaa, which is currently held by the Houthis. The rebels have not reported the strike. An Associated Press review has found the new American operation under President Donald Trump appears more extensive than those under former President Joe Biden, as the U.S. moves from solely targeting launch sites to firing at ranking personnel as well as dropping bombs in cities. The Houthis' media office said on Friday that new U.S. airstrikes struck several regions of the country including Hodeidah, Al-Juf and the capital, Sanaa. In statements posted on Telegram, the rebel group said that U.S. aggression targets Al-Lahiyah district with airstrikes, as well as Al-Hamadat district in Al-Juf governorate among other areas. There was no confirmation or comments from the U.S. government on the strikes. A video obtained by Associated Press shows the moment of an explosion and a huge column of smoke rising behind buildings in Sanaa. Witnesses said they heard the sound of the blast, planes and drones over the capital during the first hours of Friday. The new American airstrike campaign against the rebels appears more intense and more extensive, as the U.S. moves from solely targeting launch sites to firing at ranking personnel as well as dropping bombs in city neighborhoods, an Associated Press review of the operation shows. The pattern under U.S. President Donald Trump reflects a departure from the Biden administration, which limited its strikes as Arab allies tried to reach a separate peace with the group. It comes after the Iran-backed Houthis threatened to resume attacking any Israeli vessel, and have repeatedly fired at Israel over the country's refusal to allow aid into the Gaza Strip. The Houthi attacks and the response to them have drawn new scrutiny in Washington after security officials in Trump's administration shared plans for the first round of strikes on the rebels in a group chat that included a journalist. But bombing alone may not be enough to stop the Houthis, whose earlier barrage of missile fire toward the U.S. Navy represented the most intense combat it had seen since World War II. While the U.S. military has not acknowledged any civilian casualties since the strikes began over a week ago, activists fear strikes may have killed non-combatants already in territory tightly controlled by the Houthis. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday claimed that the strategic initiative was in the hands of Russian forces along the entire front line in Ukraine. According to Associated Press, speaking aboard a submarine in Murmansk, Putin also said that he felt US President Donald Trump sincerely wanted to end the fighting, but the Russian leader stressed the conflict was too complex and requires careful discussion and approach. Putin also talked about the possibility of conducting temporary governance in Ukraine. We could discuss under the auspices of the UN, with the US, with European countries, and of course with our partners and friends, the possibility of conducting temporary governance in Ukraine, in order to hold democratic elections, in order to bring to power a viable government that enjoys the trust of the people, and then begin negotiations with them on a peace treaty, sign legitimate documents that will be recognized all over the world, and we can rely on, he said.
Несколько раз уже было то, что называется внешним управлением, временной администрации. На всей линии фронта стратегическая инициатива полностью находится в руках российских вооруженных сил. Вот Луганская Народная Республика освобождена на 99% ее территории. Донецкая, Херсонская, Запорожская свыше 70%. Наши войска, наши ребята идут вперед и освобождают одну территорию за другой, один населенный пункт за другой каждый день. Нет, они существуют сейчас просто. На мой взгляд, вновь избранный президент Соединенных Штатов искренне хочет завершения этого конфликта. По целому ряду соображений, сейчас не буду даже, их много, но, на мой взгляд, это искреннее желание. Но ясно, что конфликт, о котором я говорил, и я только что дал коротенькую характеристику того, что происходило в недавнем прошлом, все-таки он сложный и требует такого тщательного обсуждения и подхода. И такая практика в работе Организации Объединенных Наций имеется уже несколько лет. Можно было бы под эгидой ООН с Соединенными Штатами, даже с европейскими странами, разумеется, с нашими партнерами и друзьями, обсудить возможности введения на Украине временного управления. А для чего? Для того, чтобы провести демократические выборы, для того, чтобы привести к власти дееспособное и пользующееся доверием народа правительство, и потом уже с ними начинать мирный договор, начинать переговоры о мирном договоре, подписывать легитимные документы, которые будут признаны во всем мире и будут надежными и стабильными. Скажу мягко, в удовлетворительном состоянии